she has invited the guy over. And then she invites him, and then she had already told the guy that my roommate has a crush on you, like without even the girl's consent. You get like telling, yeah, I have a crush, like she has a crush on you. So
in a world where we actively talk about relationships, sex, and hookups, for some reason, consent is not talked about as often as it should. Welcome back to Consent 360, where we talk about consent and everything that it entails. Last week, we talked about what consent is, gave it a proper definition, and defined the myths around consent. But in today's episode, we shall be talking about why exactly consent is not talked about as much as it should. My name is Ernest.
And my name is Lisbeth.
And my name is Lynette. So, in this episode, you're going to try to understand why we shall talk about consent. Like, we know it exists. Okay, I know some of you found out about consent from our first video, for those who watched it. But we're trying to unpack why we shall talk about consent. Why is it a problem? Let's talk about consent.
The thing is, I was just thinking about it earlier, and I was thinking, why would I talk about something that I don't even know? I didn't know the meaning of consent until we started unpacking it. So I think we are still in that kind of phase where we are still putting it in our daily life. But I cannot say, oh, I sit down and contemplate on how to talk about consent. I don't even understand the scope of the whole issue. So talking about it is a big thing. But let's say I think about talking about consent.
Okay, that's valid. I mean,
that counts. It does count. But then, just as Lisbeth said, it's not something that I wake up in the morning and I'm like, hi guys, let me talk to you about consent. You understand? Exactly. Like, yes, I know, like behind my head, like at the back of my head, I need to like, be talking about what consent should be, encouraging people to always ask for consent. But like, I've just never found myself in a space where I am actively talking about you should consent to this, consent to this, consent to this. And then like also that is necessarily not because of particular reasons, but like there are very many reasons that are wide scope that might lead us to this situation. Becky, what do you think one of the reasons that we, struggle to talk about consent is?
I think the main reason I would think about would be gender expectations. Because, like, me as a girl, there are some situations where I've been raised thinking that I'm supposed to do some specific things because I'm a girl. Like, I'm in a relationship with this person and I'm expected to give this person a hug, but I'm not okay with giving the person a hug. But because as a girl, I've been raised to know that like you're the female in the relationship, so you have these expectations of you.
Yeah, where you're like supposed to be submissive, whereby when the guy wants to like maybe touch your body or touch your ass while hugging you, you should be okay with that.
Touching the ass.
Yeah, touching the ass. Like, why can't you first ask me, am I okay with that? But the thing is, they're used to that kind of thing of, she's my girl, so why not?
Think about it, like you're hugging someone and like midway hug, you're like,
it's just,
can I go down?
I think society has normalized gender expectations. Because in society, now we all believe you're supposed to be a hard guy, supposed to be a submissive girl. In the particular male-female relationship, they attach gender roles and gender expectations to different parties in the relationship. So as a woman, like Becky mentioned, you're supposed to be submissive. If your man is touching you, just let it happen. As a man, you're supposed to touch. That's what society, teaches us to be. But then I don't think that is the right thing. You understand? Because obviously, people don't talk about consent because society has also painted that picture of I cannot be doing this because society expects me to be a submissive woman in a relationship. Society expects me to be a dominant man in a relationship.
Yes.
Even men now grow up with the idea of I'm supposed to be dominant, I'm supposed to be assertive. Women grow up with the idea of I'm supposed to be passive and agreeable to anything that my man presents on the table. You understand? True. I think that is what makes the whole gender expectations a real thing when it comes talking about consent.
I feel like what I think is also that they forget to put a difference between like a man being dominant and being respectful, or a woman being submissive and also respectful,
being gullible.
Yes, exactly. Like there is a difference. I feel like if someone understands that I can be a man who is dominant in a relationship,
But
but
still very respectful.
yeah, very
Yes.
respectful, then that could be a good thing. But I think people do not understand that I can be the man and show, oh, I'm the muscular person in a relationship, or this is my woman, like I'm possessive in a good way, but not being in such a way that boundaries, you're not respectful of the boundaries they've set. And also, I feel like people, like we said before, in our first episode, we talked about how people do not talk about the boundaries before.
The boundaries they set
Yes,
for
we're
that
not saying
yeah.
that, oh, midway hug, you ask, oh, are you okay with this? But if you've had the conversation before,
Prior to that
yes,
situation,
exactly,
you would know what to do.
Thank you. You'd know that,
And
this person is not okay with touching certain parts of their body. Like, you
and
get
of
it?
course, if you've had the conversation prior to that, you would know what she's comfortable with.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think we should also unpack the fact that, okay, I think around consent there is a lot of communication required, because if someone is unable to communicate, there is no way the other person is going to know what you're actually okay with. Of course, with this chance, I have to talk about the recent incident that happened in Chambogo with that girl who was murdered. Yeah, I don't know whether you guys have heard about
Yeah,
it.
we've heard about it. We
Yeah.
addressed her so.
Yeah, so this girl, for those who have not seen it, this girl was in a relationship with another boy, and the boy was paying her half of her tuition. That is what at least we read on social media. Was paying half of her tuition, and he was also paying her rent. So they reached a time where the girl was tired of the relationship, and she informed the boy that, you know what, I think I can't be in this relationship with you anymore. I am in love with someone else. So, since we're talking about dominance in a relationship, right? Because this girl left the boy, the boy hired goons to beat up the girl and her new boyfriend, which led to her death. So, how can you relate that to what you're talking about dominance?
I think society misinterprets what dominance should be. Ideally, dominance should be like, okay, yes, I am a dominant man, but at the end of the day, I have to be respectful as well. But society makes it seem like dominance is associated with toxicity.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So, like, at a point, there's a thin line between dominance and toxicity. Because when you're dominant, you can't be dominant, but when you're dominant and disrespectful, you're toxic.
Yeah,
You understand? That's why that man felt like it was okay for him to hire goons to beat up this lady. You understand?
I feel like also the thing is, you part of this thing where the man cannot take a no. Like, how can you be a man and you take a no?
Exactly.
Yeah? How can you be a man and you take an L? Like, if she has said she doesn't want to be in a relationship with you, how? How can you take that? So I think he had this kind of societal pressure of, how can I sit and take her no? How can she say no to me? Not realizing that, oh, she has to also consent to being in a relationship with you. Yes, you guys were in a relationship before, but that doesn't mean you guys have to keep going if she's not okay with it. And she was actually honest with him, because she could have continued putting up a facade with him, or we are in a relationship, but she doesn't have feelings for him. She's cheating on him. People do not see that other side. They're just looking, oh, he was paying for the school fees. Was he paying school fees for her to say yes all the time? But I feel like this topic is very funny, because once the topic came up, it sparked a lot in class.
Conversation.
Yeah,
Not just in class, even over social media.
Everyone was everywhere. The guys in class were talking about how can she have walked away. You see what I'm talking about? How can I pay for your school fees? How can I pay for your hostel and you walk away and you say no to me? Because they feel like that's her already saying yes. They are paying for her yes. And that means they are buying her consent. How do you approach that?
Which is very wrong.
Yeah,
Buying consent is a very different topic altogether.
Yeah. So since we are talking about why we should talk about consent, that takes me to the next issue that we should talk about. You see, people who have been victims of non-consensual acts don't actually talk about these things. So it is very hard for someone to find the need to talk about it if they are the only one. You know, it's one thing coming out to talk about something by yourself. Like, that is a lot of pressure, don't you think?
Yeah. Also, I feel, okay, so I have a scenario. There is this story a friend of mine got to tell me. Well, this girl had was in a different hostel. So she was talking to her roommate, you know, these things of like, oh, you tell your roommate, oh, I have a crush on this guy. Like you keep talking about it over and over again. Like whenever he passes, you like, you knock each other. You're like, oh, have you seen him? Oh my God, this, that. So the roommate is like, hey, but that guy is my friend. That guy is my friend.
Like, I know him.
Yeah, I know him. Yeah, I can connect you guys. Yeah. But the girl is like, no, you know, she's still in that phase of, oh, I'm a bit shy. I'm just telling you about it because you're my girl. But like, I'm not yet in that to him, or like, I'm not yet ready. So the roommate is like, oh, girl, you have to go for what you want. He's my friend. Like, you even have that connection. It will be easy and stuff like that. So the roommate invites this guy over without telling the girl that she has invited the guy over. And then she invites him, and then she had already told the guy that my roommate has a crush on you, like without even the girl's consent. You get like telling, yeah, I have a crush. She has a crush on you. So the thing is, once she told this guy that the roommate has a crush on him, he found it so like. He found it out of bracket for him to just stay away. Like, I need to go where I'm liked. I need to go where the attraction is calling.
Pick me.
Yeah. So he comes in, and then he's like, oh, I'll come over. But remember, the roommate doesn't know. So the guy comes in, they put up this kind of facade of he has come to see this other girl as friends. So this girl is like, oh, let me go. I think I need to go and buy us food. You can stay here in the room. You stay in the room. And then, and then the roommate walked out and locked the door.
Oh.
And locked the door. She locked them in. So this girl, first of all, she's left with dealing with, wait, there is someone in the room. Yes, I have a crush on him, but I don't know him on like a personal basis. And second of all, you're in that point of processing everything. Yeah. But remember, this guy has come with his other intentions, because for him, he already knows
you want him like
that. You want him like that. So are you supposed to say, oh no, I just had like a simple crush and stuff like that? He's coming with this kind of dominance over you. So that simple kind of approach ended up with the guy assaulting the girl.
Oh.
Yeah. Assaulting the girl. And to make it worse, the roommate knew about it.
Oh.
The roommate knew about it. This girl did not know how to start to tell other people, like her friends. How do I tell them? Oh, the guy I had a crush on, this, and like everything happened in such a flash. She locked herself up. She didn't go to the hospital. She couldn't go to class. She left her room. She went to her friend's room. She went to a different hostel, and she was with this friend for a while. She could not even tell this friend that, oh, I left my room because of this and this happened. So they said, oh, I have some issues. You get, you have your friend, she's just saying, I'm just having issues in my room, but she's not telling you that she had been assaulted. So a week passes, and then that's when she tells this friend, this and this went down. You cannot collect evidence. You cannot do anything.
I want to know how she dealt with the situation of the friend who set her up for assault.
What can you do? Honest, what can you do? At that point in time, you're still in disbelief. Because you're thinking, how could she have done this to me? And at the same time, what do you do to her? What kind of hate could she have had for you to put you in such a situation?
That is a very messed up situation.
I'm not like trying to be on the other girl's side, like the one who set her. But do you really think the girl knew that boy was going to assault her?
No, but the thing is, Becky, by the time, the thing is, it's not that the roommate knew.
Ideally, she communicated to the roommate and told her, you know what, I have a crush on him,
yes,
but I don't want to go to what, like I don't want to go after him. You understand? That should have been enough communication, yes, to the roommate that, you know what, let me not even attempt. Also, her fault was in locking the door. What do you mean you're locking a boy and a girl in the same room?
Wait, like she locked and not
yeah, she said, oh, I need to go and get her food. It's like when your friend comes to your room and then you're like, oh, let me let you guys introduce you, like talk to each other. Let me first go and get food, because she was as if these people were simping. Yeah? She has left them in the room so that you guys can at least get to know each other and everything. But remember, the guy already has come with this mentality of she likes me, so why not have come to get
he has a premeditated mindset.
Exactly.
Then also I totally understand why she was not able to talk about the situation, because ideally if I try to tell you that, oh, my crush assaulted me, how would it seem to you?
Yes.
You understand? Like, I have a crush on this girl, she came to my place and she assaulted me. How would that make you feel? Like, society would not believe. They would be thinking I'm just trying to, chase for clout, or I am just trying to put it out there that I slept with a person that I have a crush on. You understand?
Yeah.
But then again, it comes from the point of the shame that you get after that coming, like after a situation where you didn't have a consensual act with somebody. I might not be feeling comfortable to talk about it with like the world like that, because I fear you might not believe me. 1, 2, some people also feel like they don't want to be affiliated with sex, with active sexual,
People who are active.
yeah, exactly. Like, they don't want to be
Sexually
identified
active.
as a sexually active person. So it also sparks the conversation of why she did not want maybe to talk about the situation. But then again, so betrayal by her friend is I would be traumatized, because why are you looking me in
She had to like drop out, because by the time the parents found out, it had been like 2 weeks. She had not gone for classes. She was in her days, you get. So by the time they tell her parents, they tried to go to police, but now there is no evidence, because now they could not do a rape
those
a rape
usually
test,
happen
those things.
within the first
Yeah,
72 hours.
They could not. And then the guy was like, she wanted. So when they tried to approach the guy, he was like, even the roommate knew I have a crush on, she had a crush on me. So she wanted. And like, how can you stand up for yourself like that? And also, she had this shame. You know how we talked about, like, it's hard to talk about the consent, but also it's because some people associate it with this kind of shame you have to like talk about the scenarios that you've been in, to a point that you feel like you should sit on it and not get like people's opinions, or you give your opinion about like how you felt about it, because you have this shame. You feel like, if I talk about it in this way, like how I actually felt negatively towards it, it's still going to come with shame. So you'd rather keep it to yourself than actually air it out. It's like, sorry, I think I'm just going to come in more scenarios, because I have just been listening to some of these and I keep brushing them off.
Totally
but
fine.
Now they come up and I'm like, wow. So this one was a guy. I had a friend, and then he was saying, oh, I was just asking him, why aren't you, like, he was doing golf, like he never had that kind of, these things of doing, he wanted to do this thing of strings, with no strings attached. You just
hook up and like that's it.
Exactly. So I'm like, okay, that's okay, if that works for you, and okay. But then the thing is, he was telling me a story of, he had this girl come over, and they were still in the conversation thing where you guys are vibing, oh, the music taste is the same, oh really, stuff like that. But the girl did not come to play. She had not come to play.
She knew what she was
She knew what she wanted. So the guy is like, they're still talking, yes, they're getting flirty and stuff like that, and then she just gets to him and she grabs his HM, like can you believe the shock? Like someone who is supposed to have good turned on. He said, everything just flipped, because he was thinking, okay, what is happening?
Let's go, my
He shouldn't even give him this kind of, oh, I'm coming for this, oh, we are getting into this. She knew what she
and that
wanted.
again goes back to the narrative of the shame, because as a man, how are you going to start talking about this random girl walked up to me and she just grabbed my
he just grabbed, and then he said he was feeling so uncomfortable. He was even trying to get it up, but that just turned him off completely, because he was thinking, so what is happening?
So what did he tell her?
He just said,
let go.
No. Because now it was getting very uncomfortable. It was awkward at the same time. So he was trying to get himself in that mood. In his head, I think he was praying, oh please get up, friend, get up. But he was already tired. The shock, the awkwardness, and then he said he just made out with her a bit, and then he was like, can we just play a bit of music and stuff like that to at least try to shift the whole mood to a whole other kind of mood. But the girl made him so uncomfortable, and then after that he was like, he never invited a girl to his place. He would only go to go out with them and you dance and stuff like that, because he knew it was his own setting. You get
and according to the culture we've been raised in, based on what you talked about earlier, such a man, he won't be seen the same if he goes out there and talks about such a thing.
Yeah,
because he's going to first of all be seen as less, as incapable, as weak, as
Yeah.
not a hardy guy.
How, in fact, he will tell his friends, and his friends will be like,
That's good for
that's
you.
good for you. Like, how can you not go for such a fast girl? How can you not go for such a fast girl? It was served to you. It was served to you on a silver platter, and you still let it walk away just like
Girls
that.
are fast.
And you know, he was, even when he was telling me that, he didn't want to seem like, oh, he had gone through such a traumatic experience. He was like speaking it as if like to laugh it off. We should laugh it off. So obviously, I just tried to like laugh it off, but I was like, what?
But you know that is one of the series of trauma response. Like
Yeah.
when you've gone through something, when you reach a point where you can laugh about it, you're close to the healing phase. Like,
Yeah.
you know, so like we love that, you know, he can talk about it now, and it should be a learning point for everyone out there. Like, do not just let this happen to you and you stay there. That's why in the previous episode we mentioned consent is not only restricted to one gender. It could be consent by a man and consent by a woman as well.
That's a very good example, Lisbeth. But like that takes me back to shame. The fact that we can't talk with our friends because like we don't like people don't talk about it because they don't want to seem like spoiled children.
Oh, it's like that high school thing where if they find you guys talking about like men or like sexual stuff.
Yeah, the spoiled girls in the school.
The spoiled girls in the school. Hey, those girls are spoiled. Because like you guys are just talking. You're just talking about it. Because the more you talk about it, the more info you get from people.
But then again, people forget the fact that as an adolescent, you're sexually active.
Exactly.
And it is okay to talk about sexual reproduction. You understand? However, how you talk about it will matter.
Yeah.
Exactly, how you talk about it. But then if you understand it, then you get to understand that, oh, some things are not okay. Some things are not okay. So yeah, that's when you get to know, oh, if he does this, I'm not okay with this. Or my friend told me when he did this, she didn't like it. So you get to see how people draw their boundaries and how people do not draw their boundaries. If you talk about it to your friends, your friends are like, oh, that was not okay. That's when you get to know, oh, actually, you get to realize that, oh, actually, I was not even like thinking about where my mind was when he was doing this. But like, if you don't talk about it, you are left in this phase of, let me brush it off. Anyway.
Yeah. I think our learning point in that should be that, you know, it's okay to be sexually active.
And to talk about it.
Talk about it. You understand? Because we are adults at this point and it's okay for adults to be sexually active. If something that concerns your sexual activity, you know, comes up and you're not comfortable with it, talk about it. Always feel free to talk about something that you believe in or something that you don't believe in. Bring it up. You understand?
And I think that for the part of your how you're sexually active, like it depends. If you're not okay with telling people that, you know what, you guys, I'm sexually active, don't talk about it. But like there are situations that really need you to like be very aware about, like situations where you are in some situation that requires attention, like someone is trying to cross your boundaries. Those things that people should actually talk about them. But I think we should also know how to talk about our sexuality, just like Anesta said. Yeah. So for the next topic, that the next discussion that we need to have, we need to talk about the shame.
That's it. Before you go to the next discussion, I also wanted to talk about something. You see how we are speaking, because when we're talking about consent, we are mainly focusing on the physical part. But then there is also like, you see how we are in the flirting phase. We are okay, texting and stuff like that. There is a misconception where people feel like the best compliment is when someone is sexualizing you, like they're telling you how much they want your body. Do you get what I'm saying? Like if someone is trying to flirt with you, they're trying to tell you how. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Like
Of course, I get what you're saying.
But I feel like some people do not understand. Some people are not comfortable. Like there are people who are not comfortable with compliments that sexualize them. Like some people actually find it as a turn on if someone compliments how good they smell. Oh my God, you smell good. Instead of telling them, oh, how nice
Your
they
ass is fat.
Yeah, you have such a fine ass. You have such good boobs. You have such a good chest knuckle. Oh, you get something. I had a friend. Guys, there's just some things that people say, and you're thinking, okay, you get this guy, and for them they feel like, oh, that should be a turn on. She should feel like she's the wanted. I had a friend who just threw a comment out of nowhere to a random girl. He just felt like, oh, she has very nice boobs, and then he just threw it out of nowhere. Like, oh, you have the finest chest I've seen. I think he felt like the girl should have blushed, or she should have reciprocated. The girl felt this kind of awkwardness. And I feel like that came in because I think she was not comfortable with being spoken to in such a kind of way. Like she was not in that kind of setting of, oh, I find it okay for you to talk about my body in such a way.
I think actively sexualizing people in public is so 19 or awkward.
Like,
let's not do that.
Honestly, sexualizing people, you should also have a way of like putting boundaries. Like you should know that I'm not like some people are not okay with being spoken to in such a way, or like talking about their body in such a way, or talking about some activities in such a way. If people get to understand that, then boundaries will be like respected. You get.
Yeah. So you guys, I think there is a lot of familiarity around consent. Like there's something that happened to us. You see, when something becomes familiar, it becomes normal. Like if someone is like very nice looking ass. Like people say these things, right? And so because of that, it's like it's okay. I mean, so if you go and tell your friend that, you know what, Lisbeth, what that boy said to me. He said they have a night. Of course, Lisbeth is going to brush like people do those things.
Yeah,
Like,
I think that's because of the culture that we have around going in society. Like culture makes it seem like it's okay for men to, talk about women in a particular way, which is wrong, which I think is definitely wrong. And obviously, society has also made it okay because we are not exactly taught these things growing up as children. Most of the times, most families, I'll speak for myself, growing up as a child, we're never taught, oh, you need to talk about consent actively, always be sure of what you want, always, that talk that they give you, even in that talk that you get as a child when you're joining university, the sexual talk, that talk, there was never anything serious about,
I don't think I had that talk. I did not have that talk. Oh my god, I just feel like I was in a kind of setting where such a kind of talk.
It is so sensitive.
Oh my god, that's so
exactly.
sensitive.
Now that's
Like,
what I'm trying to put out there. Like even the families we come from are not comfortable with talking about it. You understand? And they say charity begins at home. If it's not at home, how can we be talking about, it when even at home it's not talked about? Not just at home, even the schools that we go to, we are not exactly taught you need to, talk about consent. It is this and this and this and this and that.
Yeah.
So as we conclude today's episode, I want to pose a question to the audience. Have you talked about consent? And ask yourself, why are you letting things that should not be normal become something that is normal to you? Those familiar comments that you're receiving and all those sort of things that people are texting you, how people are touching you, boy or girl. Yeah.
And of course, if you did not watch our previous episode, the link is going to be below in the caption. So make sure to check the link and follow our YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow all our social media platforms. Consent 360 is going to be our handle. So until next time, thank you for listening to us.
Bye.